God, I don't even know what to say about the ending. I felt like a little bit of the tension, and then it was, like, so fucking heartbreaking, and it was just like she was trying so hard to do the right thing, and then she got caught, and you don't at first, I was mad at Langston's girlfriend. What was her name? Was it Erica? Was that her
Daisy.
name? Daisy, yes, okay.
Yes.
So how ironic. But yeah, and then she was just like, "No, like, you're staying here, find your own ride home." And then it just started like a chain of events, even though she was trying to get Langston safe. She
Mhm.
caught that because she was being secret spy, like, she was being an investigator tapping on those phone lines, and she got him into safety. She didn't need to insist on going with. That was
Right,
like,
right.
okay, but then at the same time, you're like, "No, the story wouldn't be as powerful if that didn't happen." It's like the drama, the tragedy would not be as significant if Willa was just like, "Okay, Godspeed." Like, she but then at the same time, you're just like, it you can see it unfolding, and then it's just I feel like I was almost watching a movie. Like, it was like slow motion, and it was just like, "No." I just remember that like, that last oh my god, that last, like, 15% or whatever, but then, like, when you're reaching the end and it's so heartbreaking, because then it's half the children are gone, and she finds out when she's recovering, and she's gotta absorb all this information
Mhm.
and on top of realizing what happened, and then I just broke my heart with her little brother when because she cut herself off from her family
Yeah.
after that, even though it was the best choice for her and she was much happier and much better off, it was still heartbreaking 'cause it was just her little brother with her parents,
Mhm.
and I don't know, as a mom, I'm like, I can't imagine just leaving, "You know what? You've been a problem, you're gonna go live with them now." I guess I
Mm.
just can't see it. Like, I can't but at the same time, I'm like, maybe they just saw her exactly like that, like, as a problem, and that maybe this all everything will be back to normal, everything will be fine if she's not here.
Yeah, I think her father would have seen her as the problem. You're just a
Yeah.
problem, you're just an annoyance, and the mother was simply so dependent on the father. I think that's an important element in the book, that if you're a housewife who doesn't have a job, this is your survival. You know,
Yes.
your husband becomes your boss, and you have to be very careful not to ruffle his feathers, and your duty is to him. By the way, if you haven't read it, I recently read Betty Friedan's A Feminine Mystique.
Feminine Mystique. Okay, I've heard that's an old book, but it's
It is.
very
It's
well
from
known.
1963.
Yes, I'll have to
It's
add it to my reading list for sure.
yeah, it's eye-opening because it makes you realize that these things come in cycles, and so now we're on the down end of a cycle anyway. So, yeah, I think that her father was the one who wanted her gone because she was just a pain anyway, and the mother obeyed because that's what she did.
Yeah, exactly, like, she wasn't as forgiving or as obedient as his wife, and that was a
Right.
problem, and
Yeah.
also he was like, You broke up my family." That's what he saw her as, is,
Mhm.
"You you caught my trifling ass cheating, you were the one who were the reason why my 2 other kids had to drive and pick you up and got in that accident and no
Yeah.
longer here." And it's so I don't know, it makes sense from that perspective, but it's just, oh my god, it never had to be that way. It
Mm.
never had to be that way, and it's so sad because Willa, she was growing and she had the best intentions, and then she ended up at what cost, right? At what
Right.
cost?
Right.
And, but even then, I don't know, I'm like, "Burn it all to the ground, sis." I'm like, I know chaos, I'm like, I love a chaotic queen, even though it was like, holy shit, like, girl, okay. But at the same time, it's like she had to do something so drastic to be noticed and be taken seriously almost. Like, once I felt like she's fine, he doesn't pay attention to me anyway, I don't care about impressing him anymore, and this is what I'm gonna do.
Mhm.
I'm gonna ruin his reputation now. Like,
Yeah.
it was but I don't know, I loved it. I loved every second of her growth, of her flaws, of her even though I don't know, I don't wanna get too attached just get so into the story, and I wasn't attached to her siblings per se, but I was just like,
Yeah.
"Holy shit," like, how much it all blew up in, like, an instant, and it didn't start there, it started 4 or 5 against prior events prior to that.
Mhm.
That's how crazy it is and how fast it can spiral out of control and just get away from you, and her being the age that she was, she didn't have much power anyway. Even if she was a grown woman, she probably wouldn't have had much
Yeah,
say,
that's a good point.